Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm glad we got the light issue not really fixed, but I'm not worried about it. All right.
My head's covering one of them.
Yeah, your head's covering one of them. You're good to go. So, what coffee do you drink? What's your favorite coffee?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm super into coffee right now. This is Rising Star.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mine is the McDonald's coffee.
Okay.
Not. I didn't go and drive and get McDonald's. My wife gets the K cup.
Okay.
She does all the shopping. She like I got to give what a perfect shameless area for me to give a plug. She goes to the store and endures the mask. She wears the mask, right? There you go. There you go. That's Barbarian Apparel, by the way. Josh sent me these, and he's actually making these custom. It's pretty sweet. But she rocks the mask out and goes to the store, and um, yeah, and everybody else. It sounds like people are just one way or the other. People are totally like out of their mind in fear, or they're just like whatever. They're ignoring all the social distancing, and that she said she's seeing it all.
Yeah. Well, my grandparents the other day called me and they said, "Hey, Sammy, what do you want from the grocery store?" I said, "No, it's supposed to be the other way. I'm supposed to get you food."
Yeah,
And
it
they
is.
give me up food. Yeah.
They have Sammy. They have a. They actually have a time when it opens. That's when like people with a compromised immune system or elderly people are supposed to go. That's when they're supposed to. They actually have a slot where they're supposed to go, and my wife's like, "Yeah, well, you're not supposed to go during that time."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that makes sense, right? That makes sense. So, okay, so it was really cool seeing you yesterday. Where did we meet up yesterday?
We were at what was formerly known as Squaw Rock. I'm not sure what it's called now,
It's
but
Squall Rock still.
I thought they changed the name.
It shows up as Squall Rock on my phone whenever I go to identify it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Walt
Yeah.
said it's Squall Rock. He's like, oh, they used to call it Squall Rock. It's called Squall Rock still
Okay. Good. Good. Good.
because it's just South Chagrin Reservation,
Hmm.
which is awesome. How far do you guys live from South Chagrin?
I live about 20 minutes. Coach Haywald lives like 5
Yeah,
minutes.
he lives right there. He said
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's Bentleyville. Part of it's in Solon. Because the other falls, the Quarry Rock, you know Quarry Rock?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the next set of falls up. The Bentleyville Police Department's up on the hill, and then you go down the hill, Solon Road, and you turn off of Solon Road. That's a better rock, actually. That's a better set of falls, especially for my kids, because it's got a real long run to it, whereas those are choppy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like those, though. I mean, they're cool. They're easy to climb up. But the Quarry Rock's the next one up. And then there's a secret one that I told you down the river because nobody knows about it. I don't
Hayward's
even
got.
know the name of that. You got to go check that out, though. I don't even know the name of that, but go check that out. And I've never seen. I've seen a family pass through, and I've never seen people like hang out and camp out like we did the other day.
I want to check it out.
It's really cool, and it's a good long run. And then there's another set of falls at the end of it. And I saw that. How I saw that one day, we were just driving, and I looked over, and I'm like, "Look at those waterfalls!" My wife said, "Let's go check it out." So we parked and hiked, and it was actually this past winter. It was this past winter. We hiked like a couple miles in the winter, and we found it. But that's a beautiful area, man. That's cool, and that's there's another cool one up by you, by John Carroll, and
Yeah.
you where you live, Euclid Creek.
Yeah.
Euclid Creek, the Burnett brothers, their sister lives at the top of that like hill and cliff. Her
Really?
backyard leads out into that. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and that's how I found out. He's like, my sister. If you walk out of her backyard, you'll walk off that cliff. I was like, no way. So yeah, we were taking. We went there last week, and it was flooding and stuff crazy last week. Dude, Squaw Rock, you couldn't see the bottom shelf of it last week. It was
Oh.
it was.
Yeah.
I gotta show you. I'll send you a couple links. I did a hike there last week because I go out chasing waterfalls, being goofy. Um, and I went to the Falls of the Chagrin. I went to Squaw Rock. I went to Quarry Rock. I went to those other falls that I've been telling you about that are hidden. I went to one other set of falls I can't remember, but I did it like on flood level. Terrifying, terrifying, dude. Terrifying. You got to go check them out on flood level. You don't want to go in them or near them.
Okay.
Because it's a game over situation. You don't live. The recirculating current would just like batter you into the ground. Like you wouldn't be able to get out.
No, but I want to check it out still.
But the power is like amazing. I love the power. So and then all right. So you saw me and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And you came over. Were those river shoes you had on?
Yeah, they were kayaking shoes made of parachute cord.
Are those the Keens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Keen man. I'm a Solomon man now. Solomon's the best boot you can get, in my opinion. I did all my hikes last summer in Solomon's.
Okay.
I got about 3 or 4 pair of them. They're amazing. If you ever want to go do like real cool hikes,
Solomon.
like Rocky Mountain National Park, you want to go to like Mount Rainier and all the Solomon is the boot. Like I got like a 6-inch boot. It's awesome. You got to check that. It's cool stuff. But where you live is really cool. Sam, do you live? So you go to John Carroll now.
Mm-hmm.
Beechwood is under a mile from John Carroll.
Yeah, I live with my parents right now.
How is that?
It's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Most kids don't say that.
No, I mean, my parents and I, we get along, and you know, I'm not super mischievous, so I think it's like, I come home at a reasonable hour, and we all help out.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, so you went to Beechwood High School. When did you graduate from Beechwood?
2014.
2014. So you've had kind of a non-traditional path, right, Sam?
Yes.
So your path started out, your state champ in 2014. You guys had another state champ that year, didn't you?
Ryan Harris.
Harris.
Yeah.
Harris's old man. Oh my God. Harris's old man's a piece of work. Oh my God. That guy is hilarious. He owns a scrapyard. He owns a scrapyard, right?
Yeah, he does something with the steel.
Yeah, he owns metal. He owns a scrapyard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So listen, one of the greatest stories ever at the Burnett train camp, because Ryan used to come to the Burnett camp. Did you come to the Burnett train camps too?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan was at a lot of them. Then there was, I know you obviously know this guy, Greg Marmaros.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg Marmaros. Greg Marmaros was cheating. We were playing Mat Wars. Scotty Burnett and I were in college. Greg Marmaros must have been 8, 9. He could have been 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. How old's Greg Marmaros? I don't even know.
I think he's 30.
Okay. So this would have been, geez, oh, Pete's. Greg Marmaros this is 2003. 2000, no, it was earlier. 2001, 2002, 2001, 2002. That makes Greg Marmaros how old? 10 or 12?
Yeah.
12 years old, 11 years old. Marmaros gets pulled because it's Mat Wars and you got to pull the other person into your zone and then they're out. Yeah. Marmaros is a little wet dog, little wet rat, right? Like little tiny guy. Everybody starts ganging up on Scotty and we're pulling Scotty Burnett across. And Marmaros comes out because he's out and he starts pulling Scotty. And Scotty Burnett lost his mind. And the Marmaros kid was like, he's screaming at, "You're a cheater. You're nothing but a cheater." And he lost his mind. He was speaking in like tongues. I don't even know the words he was yelling at. Marmaros is like a little tiny kid. I don't even think he was big in high school, right?
He was like 6'2".
Yeah, but he was like a 19-pounder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine him as an 11, 12-year-old getting screamed at by Scotty Burnett. Oh, it was ridiculous. Dude, it was ridiculous. But, okay. And then the Harrises would come around. Beechwood's just always had really tough guys, man. Just really good tradition of wrestling there. They do. Were you two the last 2 state champs for Beechwood?
Yes.
So they've kind of had like a little bit of a downturn, huh?
Yeah. Well, Ryan Peters he took over the youth program again, so they've got like a ton of kids out in the youth program, so they're rebuilding.
Okay, so Peters runs the youth program, and then is Grossman a Beechwood guy? Did he go to Beechwood?
Yeah.
He went to Beechwood because he lives in Aurora now.
Yes.
Okay, but he went to Beechwood.
Yep.
Dude, and there's some other guy I met. Oh my God, this guy approached me. He was a couple times state placer. I think he was a state finalist for Beechwood. His name is Weiss.
Tommy?
Oh my God, this guy rolled up on me at the yours truly. Was he a state finalist?
Yeah, he came in second.
And I think Dan Tank beat him. Tank is from Genoa, and
Okay.
Genoa and Oak Harbor are next to each other.
Is that related to Kirk Tank?
Kirk Tank's dad.
Okay.
So the Weiss guy was like, oh, dude, he rolled up on me, and I was just eating dinner with my family. We were literally minding our own business. I had a wrestling shirt on. And he was asking me, like, does Dan Tank look as good as me? And I'm like, yeah, actually, he looks better than you because he's an airline pilot. And Dan Tank's like in amazing shape, right? And the guy he asked me 3 or 4 times, and I was like, this is bizarre. Does that sound like something that Weiss would do?
I don't know him too well. I see him running all the time.
Okay. So then he told me that the thing he was most proud of is his kid was a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah, I think he went to Harvard.
His kid went to Cornell and was a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my kid's a Rhodes Scholar. That's the thing I'm most proud of. And I was like, well, awesome. I think he does commercial real estate or something.
I think so.
Yeah.
His parents' backyard backs up to my backyard.
Okay. Yeah, the dude kept asking me if does Dan Tank look as good as me? And I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to ask my wife, but I don't think she know. He looks better actually. I don't think he liked that answer, but yeah, he was. You guys got some characters over there.
Yeah, I hope I'm not one of those characters.
All right. So 2014, you're a state champ for Beechwood, right?
Yep.
Out of high school, where do you go immediately?
Northwestern. I went out to Evanston.
How long were you there for?
Like a little bit over a year. I went.
Dorm or no dorm?
Yeah, I roomed with I roomed with Stevan Micic, who then transferred to Michigan.
Are you and Stevan the same age?
Yeah.
Are you both 2014 grads?
We're both going to be 7th-year seniors next year.
Okay, so the difference is I want to talk about the main differences here.
Yeah.
There's Division 1, there's Division 3. There's NCAA Division 1, there's NCAA Division 3, and there's huge differences. Rules mainly are the difference. Stevan has hit like these real weird. He's an Olympian. He will be an Olympian. And then you got the hiatus. You guys can pause. D3 can pause.
Yeah.
D1 has a clock, and Stevan has actually hit like multiple loopholes with Olympic red shirts, right?
I think he's the first to ever take 2 Olympic red shirts.
Well, yeah, but it was just, it's this weird thing that's happened, right?
Yeah.
With him, his is just like this weird thing. He had this weird thing that happened. And he transferred Big Ten to Big Ten. But what was the biggest difference you noticed, Sammy, about Division 1 to Division 3 now?
I guess Division 3 is more, which I kind of liked better. It's more on your own. I think Division 1, it was like, you better lift at 6 a.m. And Division 3 is, hey, just get your lift in. And I don't know, for me, I felt like when I was getting it in on my own, I felt like it gave me a little bit more of a mental edge than when someone was forcing me to do it. So I kind of like that environment a little bit better.
So you don't like the, I don't want to say gun to your head, but it's high pressure. D1's high pressure.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's different, though.
What's crazy in Ohio is we've had so many amazing guys come out of D3 because the big knock in Ohio is, he won D3. It's a state title. Sorry, it's a state title. I don't care what anybody says. You know who else won D3 in Ohio? Jay Jaggers won D3 a couple times. 4, I think. Logan Stieber, Hunter Stieber, Harry Lester, Olympian. The list goes on. Tommy Rollins was a 2-time NCAA champion. So, like, when I bring that up, then they're like, oh, to an outsider, someone looking in, they're like, wait a minute, why are people knocking D3? Well, the depth is not the same in D3. We can both agree on that, right?
Yeah.
But a state title is a state title, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me at least, I don't know. And if you look at some of our all-time, Nathan Tomasello, he's a D3 champ multiple times. And then they switched in the middle of their CVCA, went up and down.
Yeah. Because he was D2. I won state the same year he did. He was D2. I was D3.
Same weight.
Yeah.
And okay, so what did you go as, Sammy? A 33 or a 25? What did you go to Northwestern as?
I think I was recruited as a 33. Actually, Mark Haywald helped me get recruited, so that was kind of the connection there.
How?
So Drew Periano was the head coach at Northwestern, and he was the graduate assistant for Mark at John Carroll. So he coached Mark, and I wasn't like heavily recruited out of high school. So I remember I was like, I really wanted to go to Northwestern, and I think Haywald kind of hooked me up with Drew and got us in contact.
So Drew starts recruiting you. I like Drew.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Drew's something else. So Drew recruits you. The Big Ten's a whole nother deal. When you got there, were you like, okay, this is a whole nother deal?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's not what I was used to, for sure.
What are you used to? What was Beechwood like when you guys were at Beechwood? Because obviously you guys, like I said, you've had some amazing talent come out of Beechwood, right?
Yes. Well, I was really well coached. I had Coach Dugan Bentley and Mike Arnold were coaches at Beechwood, so they were really, really awesome coaches. But the depth of the teammates, I mean, we had Ryan Harris and we had a couple state qualifiers, but I don't know, the rooms in a Division I room was definitely different, and weaknesses were exposed very. I thought like I kind of walked in there with my chest held high, like I had the greatest technique in the world, and that was definitely a rude awakening.
So you get there. Did you hit when did you hit the growth spurt? When did you get big and become like because I saw you yesterday. I'm like, this dude, because you qualified on NCAAs this year at 165, right?
157. I was 65 last year. I was 57 this year.
Did you qualify at 65?
Yep.
So you you get what I'm saying? Like you're big. Yeah. You don't look like a 119 or a 125 or a 33-41. I mean, you're every bit of a 165 if you want to be.
Yeah. Well, I hit a growth spurt probably. Well, I think it was right when I came home from Northwestern. I kind of hit a growth spurt.
And then, so you left wrestling, right? Like, how long did you leave the sport of wrestling for and not touch a mat or anything?
I think 2 years. Well, I coached for 1 year. I coached at St. Ignatius with Coach Sullivan, and that was a lot of fun. But the last time I competed was at the University Nationals in 2015.
Okay.
And the first time I competed again was the fall, like November of 2018.
Okay.
So it was like 3.5 years.
You were off the mat for a while.
Yeah.
And then you weren't in college at all as a full-time student.
Yes.
Because that's...
I was part-time. Right.
Yeah. You got to be under 12 hours. Because that's the rule in Division II, or Division II and 3, I believe. You can take a hiatus.
Yes.
And that's what you actually did. Because you burned all your D1 eligibility in those years. Because once your clock starts in D1, you got to have it would have to be like mental illness, war, something like that for you to get those years back, right?
Yes.
So you burned through those years, but they have it's the hiatus thing. If I'm getting this right, I think this is right, yes?
Yeah, it was not intentional that way.
Yeah.
I did not intend to come back to wrestling.
Where were you at with it? Tell me what the intent was and where you were with wrestling.
I mean, when I was at Northwestern, I had a lot of mental and physical illness that when I came home and had to deal with it, and I had doctors telling me yeah, we don't think it's a good idea for you to wrestle anymore. And I kind of had written it off as competing, and I thought I was done. But I don't know, I started lifting and I started getting back in shape, and I don't know, I saw what Coach Halo was doing at John Carroll, and I couldn't stay away.
How, what's the depth of out of shape? What's that mean when you say what's the depth? Tell me the depth. I'm telling you right now, I hit the 260 quarantine, right? I hit the 260 quarantine. Okay. I'm at the depth of out of shape right now. What's the depth of out of shape for Sam Gross?
I hit 208 pounds.
You hit 208 pounds?
Yeah. So I think when I decided I was done wrestling, I was eating fast food all the time, and I don't think I worked out for a year.
What do you mean didn't work out for a year? I go hiking with my kids. I don't really call those workouts, but I'm out being active and we do 3-4 miles, right? You're doing that stuff, right?
rarely. It was pretty bad. Well, because I mean, my diet was so bad that I had no energy. I would go on hikes and stuff, but I don't think I stepped foot in a weight room or a wrestling room and really kind of trashed my body.
Were you just like, I'm just gonna live around here, get a degree, and maybe do finance someday? My dad has a finance company. I think I'm just gonna do that.
I think that was the idea. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. When I saw you yesterday, I was like, Sam's in pretty good shape, man. Wearing a suns out, guns out muscle shirt. So you changed your physique back to like that of a college wrestler.
Yeah.
How old are you and Stevan the same age?
Yes. So I'm 24.
You're 24. Okay. Will you be 25 by the NCAA tournament next year?
Yeah, my birthday's in August.
So you're going to be 25. And, crazier things have happened. I talked to Sonny Marchetti. John Marchetti won D3 as a 30-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah. John Marchetti was done like you were, but he was still training Sonny. And he was out just wrestling and like coaching and training with his brother at Lassen Junior College. And Augsburg was recruiting their 25-pounder. And they were like, hey, we're looking for a 25-pounder. Like, we don't want to give you this 25-pounder. How about this guy that's training with us? His brother was JUCO champ. They're like, all right. And John Marchetti went to Augsburg and won D3 as a 30-year-old.
Oh, my God.
That's an Ohio guy, right? There you go. Yeah. North Canton. So, and then I think he went to Minnesota out of the gate. And Augsburg it's right by, it's Minnesota.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, they do some real wacky stuff, Augsburg and Wartburg. Did you know that?
I knew the rivals.
Yeah, and then they do a lot of like somebody told me a couple years ago at NCAA finals, they had a guy that was like a 5th or 6th year senior, and he was an undecided major. Where you're going to have an MBA, you know what I mean? Like, hey, what is your undergrad in, Sam?
Economics.
Oh, perfect. So you and I were talking about this shutdown, right? We'll have to come back. We're going to circle around. I promise. My wife's always like, oh, look, a squirrel, like I dart around. But okay, so you're out of wrestling. You're gonna do finance, or were you like, I'm gonna live in Beechwood? I'm gonna stay in Beechwood and do the family business. Is that where your head was at when you were out of it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was kind of like, I identified as a wrestler my whole life, and in high school I saw a sports psychologist, and he's like, you got to have more than your sport as a part of your identity, which I was just like, I said, absolutely, I will. And then I realized that I did the exact opposite of what he said, and I made wrestling my identity. And then I was like a lost puppy for a while. One time someone came up to me and they're like, what do you like to do for fun? And I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. I usually wrestle, so.
Somebody just told me that. Somebody said they don't have any hobbies. One of these interviews, somebody was like, I don't have any hobbies. Todd Havertell was like, yeah, I don't have hobbies. Right? I think he's got 3 daughters. Mm-hmm. I think he's really into his daughters and whatever they're doing, and then it's the Brecksville wrestling team.
Okay.
Right?
So I had the opportunity to develop hobbies, and stuff, and kind of learn about myself, and I was a finance guy.
Yeah. So now that you've almost been forced, right? Like real world grabbed a hold of you, and you were forced into like the real world. How detached from it? Like so what did you? Was there a year where there was no St. Ignatius and no wrestling? What did you do besides eat fast food? Did you work?
Yeah, I worked. So I worked. I guess you could call it that. My dad hired me at his company as like the scanning guy, so I scanned papers for like a year.
So you were a scanner.
Yeah.
Did you have an econ degree yet?
No. So that was I had 1 year of school under me. I took a year completely off of school and was just scanning. And
one of the Lips did what you did. The one that went to Purdue.
Kevin
did what you did, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah. Well, he's working for his dad at Merritt Brass right now.
Yeah, Kevin did what you did. He took like a couple of years off, and that's not normally how you guys roll, right? Like You have to have a purpose. You're not allowed to just like live in mom and dad's basement and be a high school or a college dropout. That's not the deal, right? So
Right.
what did they eventually say to you, Sam?
My parents.
Yeah. When did this when was the where was the what's the aha moment for you? I got to get back in this. I can't identify as a wrestler. What was your aha moment? I'm 208 pounds. It sucks to tie my shoes. I get winded to tie my shoes. Trust me, I know how you must have felt there. But what was your moment?
So I really don't want to give him credit, but there was a kid on our team, Mitch Chickenen. He was from Jackson Milton, and he was on our coaching staff a little bit this year. And I was hanging out with him, and I remember I had a Jimmy John sandwich in my hand, and I was just disgusted with myself. And he looked at me, and basically, he was like, "What are you doing? Like, don't be a fallen hero. Like, get your butt back in gear. Like, you're a pretty good wrestler. Like, you got to do this." And like, I think I walked out of there like I was almost in tears, and because I had never had someone who just confronted me that closely and basically said like, "You're not doing things right." And I don't know, like the next day, I think I got back in the weight room and I'm cool because I was technically on the team, but I would go to practice and didn't do anything else. So then
Were you 208? Were you 208 pounds?
I think around, yeah. I think when I started, yeah, I was about 200.
So when you're on the team and you're not, are you wrestling in the practices as a 208 pounder?
Yeah.
You were
I think there's a picture on the website and it's bad. Don't look at it.
When you were, yeah, I'm actually going to ask, hey, I was going to say, can you send me, I'm not going to like, dude, come on, man. Send me some pictures. Do I really have any room to make fun of someone who's a fat guy? Come on.
I'll send you some pictures.
Send me a couple pictures because it's just like fascinating to me because it's a great story because, Mark and I were talking and he was just like so impressed with how you changed your body. That was the biggest thing he said. He's like, the guy changed his body and he looks better now than he did as a 25, 33, 41, whatever he was trying to be at Northwestern. And I think Drew complimented you as well, is what Mark was saying. Drew was so impressed with how you changed your body and your physique. You looked like, I just can't imagine you at 208 pounds, especially after seeing you yesterday and remembering like watching you wrestle at the state tournament. You know what I mean? Always been in great shape whenever I've seen you in person. Like, and when you see someone as a kid, most kids are in pretty good shape, right?
Yeah.
It's just wild to think that you got to 208 pounds. So how did they bring you back onto the team when you're like this frumpy dumpy dude that's just like chilling?
I don't. It must have been the most frustrating thing in the world to watch. I'll have to talk because I was just. I don't know. Like I would go to practice and I put in the bare minimum. Because I think in my heart I was like, I'm not ready to compete. And then like I was getting ready to, and Haywall was like, hey, why don't you compete? And I was like, okay. And then I broke out in skin funk. And then eventually I ended up breaking my ankle and had surgery. So the season was, and I think that was like a higher power helping me out because I was not mentally ready to compete yet.
Jeez, oh Pete. So that most people they phone it in, man. They're done. They're done at that point. Like, hey, I'm overweight. I got the funk, right? Whatever you got, and then I need an ankle surgery. And you're hurt. You break your ankle and you're hurt, right? Like most people phone it in there, Sam. Like most people, I'm like they're done. They're like you were pretty mentally exhausted anyway, right? Why not phone it in and like who was the support on that one? Because Mark Haywald is just like that. Like he's not super invested. He's like doing you a favor at this point, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Like so, you're big.
Well, I think he just cares about everybody. I've seen the way that he works with the backups and the starters, and he loves everyone on our team, and I think it's part of just who he is. So I think he kind of saw that there were bigger things to me than wrestling, but I think he also was like, I think he loves it. And
is that the biggest difference you notice from D1 to D3?
Is the level? I don't. Well, it's such a weird comparison because the level of maturity that I have as a 24-year-old was way different than a 19-year-old in college. So I don't know if it's a fair comparison. I would love to be in a D1 room now and kind of see the difference.
And what's crazy is you'll probably have the opportunity if you want to. You can go coach if you want to. You can go do that. And I think your story, and I mean, you got a great story. And I think there's a lot to learn there. I think that these coaches now, it's not more about, because I know that Kilgore is out at Air Force Academy, and Sam Barber and the other assistant coach, they're both D3 guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think you're seeing that more often, that we're starting to value this guy won the University Nationals and was NCAA All-American 3 or 4 times. We're starting to, there's a shift. I think people see the value of this person has valuable life experience. And another thing is there's a lot of fundraising, right? Obviously, finance being your strength, that's something you could go and really benefit a Division I team with if you cared to do that. You know what I mean? Because hindsight, as you say, it's 2020, right? Hindsight's 2020 vision. You can see all the mistakes you're making as a 19-year-old in Chicagoland, Evanston, Illinois. I mean, it's a lot to do there. And the other thing with that is they only got like a 22-man roster at Northwestern.
Yeah.
So they're pretty invested in every guy.
Oh yeah.
So they're not like, Ohio State can have 40 guys. They can have 35 or 40, whatever their roster limit. They can have 35 or 40 guys. And then I think they also have tryout periods for guys. So they can put guys on longer who they don't have to roster spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that staff was awesome. Coach Storniolo, Coach BB, Timmy, all those guys were just super. I love all those guys.
Yeah, so I think your story really helps your case if you ever want to go coach and see the landscape of a D1 room. I mean, I don't know why someone wouldn't, hey, man, you want to be the volunteer?
Yeah.
You want to teach me how to fundraise? You know what I mean? Like, that's something that's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty priceless. You can't really put a price on it. But
I'll put you as a reference.
Yeah. I'll just shoot the video to him. I'll shoot this video to him. Here you go. Here's the guy. But okay. So when he brings you back in and he finally gets you, so when'd you break your ankle?
That was in 2018, like December, or 2017, the December.
Okay. And then the year before is when you coached at Ignatius with Sullivan.
Yeah.
What was that like with Sullivan, and what'd you do for that year? Were you on the mat much?
I was working out. Well, part of me, I got sick of wrestling heavyweights. It was because I was the fat guy, so they put me with the heavyweights. So that was part of it. I worked a lot with their 220-pounder, who's a state qualifier. I worked a lot with Najee Lockett, who he transferred, but he was a freshman that year.
He's going to Cornell next year.
Yeah, I was so proud of him.
Yeah, he's an awesome kid.
And I mean, I was kind of just a dummy for them. I mean, I was working out with those guys, wasn't showing much or anything.
Okay, so you're just drilling with dudes and wrestling live with high school kids.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very different than being drawn into a college room.
The perspective change is awesome, though.
Well, yeah, because now you're in control of nothing.
Oh, coaching is so much harder.
You're in control of nothing, right?
No.
You're relying on high school kids and young men to make these decisions. They got to make the right decisions. It's really hard, man. So did you have the intent? Why were you keeping yourself under 12 hours? Why were you keeping yourself not full time? Was in the back of your mind somewhere was like, hey, I might wrestle again? Was that a thing?
No, I don't. So I think, like I said, I kind of wrote off wrestling as a competition, but I think just where I was at, I took a year off of school, and there was a lot going on in my life, so I thought I was just going to ease back into it and so I was part-time for a year, and then I enrolled full-time after that.
What do you do? Was there ever a year when you weren't Ignatius where you just did nothing? That year you took off, did you just do nothing?
No.
You always worked or did something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that wouldn't be a choice. I figured that. What do your parents say to you whenever you're in like a tough time? Like, how are they behind you, and what do they say?
I mean, they were always super supportive. I mean, I was really fortunate. My parents have been super supportive in really everything, and but yeah, they did not want me doing nothing. Yeah,
it's not the way, right? That's not the way. Like, I think that when you look at the generation today, some parents are like they're permissive of that. They're okay with it. Like my wife told me, she's like, yeah, our kids aren't going to stay here. They're going to either go to school, they're going to have a job, and if they stay here, they're going to pay rent. You know what I mean? Like she's real into like making sure that they're doing something because her dad made her get a job. You know, before like her dad used to make her cook dinner one night a week. You know, it's like they made him have responsibility. And I think that's the best thing you can do for your kids, right? And it sounds like your parents did it the right way. You know what I mean? They weren't just like, "Hey, Sam, you can get some fast food and go hang out and play video games." I don't think that doesn't sound like that was a thing. So, okay. So moving forward, you have the ankle surgery. How much rehab did you have to do with ankle surgery, and what did you do to your ankle?
So I broke the. Oh God, I'm not sure if it's the fibula or the tibia. The little one. The smaller
Okay,
one.
the non-load bearing bone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you
so I
need.
broke
Turns out
that.
you need that to do high level, high impact contact sports. Okay.
So yeah, and then I went to just rehab. It wasn't too much. It was like 4 months of going to physical therapy, and I was kind of back to normal.
Okay, so it wasn't terrible. It wasn't. What they have to do? Plate and
Yeah.
screws.
Yeah.
Did they remove them yet?
No. Am I gonna need that?
They usually, if it depends if it mends or however it goes, and then you have the option. Because I have screws in my knee, and as you know, I don't like to go through airport security, right? I get patted down, and they always ask me, I'm like, yeah, I have screws in my knee, and that scanner that I won't go through picks that up.
Oh.
X-rays pick that up. You know what I mean? Which they tell you that scanner is radio waves, but I don't know that technology, so I don't really tend to believe much that they're telling me there. You know what I mean? But like it's wild because you gotta you know what I mean? Like you can have that removed, and then sometimes your body will attack something foreign that's in there because it's not supposed to be in there. So you get back to wrestling. How was your ankle when you
That
start
was
like
fine.
pre?
It was all ready to go.
So that year you make the NCAA tournament 165.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me
Yeah.
about that coming back from being. Did you drop weight after you had the ankle surgery? Did you like change your diet and stuff?
Yeah. I dropped a little bit of weight, and then in the fall, that's when I kind of made that decision to get my butt in gear and start eating a little bit healthier, and kind of give it a not a college try, give it a real try, and um that was I started at 74 actually, and then ended up dropping to 65.
Were the guys massive at 74? Were like grabbing them and moving them? Was it like whoa?
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah. Well, I was not moving either. My dad describes it as like watching like the guy who should have retired from in the NFL like 5 years prior, but is still there.
Yeah. So you're wrestling 74. What's the aha moment on 165?
I think. Well, then I started. I saw a nutritionist, and I was like, man, maybe I should do 65. I don't know. I don't know when the aha moment was, but I started just like getting my nutrition on right, and that was a huge part. I mean, I still love nutrition now, and making sure I get the proper nutrition, because I didn't realize how much it actually made me feel so much better when I was eating the right foods.
And then Mark, what's Mark Haywald say during all this? Is he just like supportive in the background? What's his whole like take on everything? Like I know his take, but in your perspective, what's Mark like this whole time?
I think he's super supportive. I think he was all on board, everything I wanted, because I think he saw that there was some potential there. So he was, and I was doing well in the room and stuff. So I think he kind of started to see, because that's like when it started clicking again. I started loving it, and I started kind of getting my motion back.
Yeah, because I think that's hard when you like lose the love for something, and then everybody spends the rest of their life trying to find that. What did I love about this? Right? What did you
Yeah,
love about it? What do you think you loved about it?
I appreciate it so much more now, at least.
But why? What's the thing that you love and appreciate?
Just like I was talking with my teammates, and I said the other day that I was like, he's a former athlete, and I was like, yeah, I'm a former student athlete. 'Cause that's who I was, and I think just kind of being able to accept like that I don't have a whole lot of time to do this, and I'm getting an opportunity to do this again. I'll tell you the story. I was at the regional tournament last as a 165 pounder, and the national anthem played, and I went over to my dad and I was like, Dad, like 3 years ago, I never thought I'd be competing to try to make the NCAA tournament. And like before the tournament starts, my dad and I are both crying while the national anthem's playing. And it was just because I was able to appreciate like the opportunity to compete is, I mean, right? What would you, I mean, to compete again, I've got one more year for the rest of my life. And I don't know, it's just a different level of appreciation that I love.
So you just like really that I got a second chance.
Yeah.
I didn't become a, what did the guy call you, fallen hero? What did he call you?
Yeah, he told me, Mitch taken in, so if he's watching.
Fallen hero, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what place did you take at 65 in the region?
I got third.
So you have to take third, don't you?
Yeah.
So who did you beat in the Conci semis, and who did you beat for third and fourth?
Conci semis, I can't remember his name. He was from all of that. I can't remember his name. But then for third and fourth, I beat a kid who from Mount Union. He beat me twice that year. He pinned me and he majored me.
Really? Who'd you beat?
His name's Michael McIntyre.
Okay. So you beat Michael McIntyre. How bad you beat him?
I think it was 4-1.
And he housed you twice. He kicked the tar out of you twice.
I guess so.
I don't know, a major and a pin. I would call that getting housed.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't feel good after either one of those losses, did you? It wasn't like an overtime loss, and it was close. I mean, he beat the tar out of you twice, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. That's got to be good, right? And then NCAAs, how did you do at 65 at NCAAs?
I went 1-2. I made the round of 12.
So you lost in the round of 12. Who beat you in the blood round?
He was from, his name was, oh shoot. He was the number 2 seed. His name, oh my God. I usually have the best memory.
Close match?
Yeah, I think it was like 5-3.
So you're right there.
I lost to the champ first round.
Oh my God, those draws. Dude, the wild thing about D2 and D3 is, I love the parity. The parity is amazing. Because at the D1, the parity, you got your idea that's going to be Penn State, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Iowa, right? You can throw Virginia Tech in there, Cornell. I mean, we could pepper some NC State's on the rise, Michigan, right? Right. Northwestern obviously had some great teams, but like, it's just like, it's going to be Big 10 guys, it's going to be Big 12 guys, and that Cornell, right? Cornell is going to be formidable, Lehigh, right? That they're going to have squads, and then obviously Princeton's on the rise, but there's just not a ton of parity in D1. No. I went to the D2s. I called the D2s in 2014 at Public Hall, and Notre Dame College had a bunch of dudes win that weren't supposed to win, right? They beat a bunch of number 1 seeds, and it was like awesome. Obviously, Joey Davis was like the guy. And then they won as a team. They had like 5 champs in a row. And I don't know if any of those guys were supposed to win besides Joey Davis. It was like awesome. And they just rolled, dude. They rolled on everybody. But like they had guys that were like 36-0 that Notre Dame College beat in the finals. They're defending champs 36-0. Right? Like in D1, normally that guy just wins. But not in D2 and D3. There's a ton of parity, right? Did you like that parity element to it?
Yeah, I think so. I like that. I mean, every year, if you look at those brackets, you see a not seeded guy make the finals every year. That's
my point. Like, how often, like, it's a big deal in D1 if a non-seeded guy makes it, but it's happening every year in D2 and D3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because now Hayden Brawny and Nick Mason work for my brother. They're Tiffin guys. They led the country in pins the last 2 out of the last 3 years. And it's like just more carefree, and there's not as much pressure in D2 and D3. And I like that. I like that element of it. I think that's cool. I got a nephew who's a junior this year at Oak Harbor. He won the district. And like I'm kind of encouraging him. I think he should be a D2 guy. Okay. You know what I mean? A D2, D3 guy. I think he'll get more enjoyment out of it. Mm-hmm. and he's pretty good, and I think he can be a multiple-time All-American. But man, D1, and he'll qualify for NCAAs in D1. If he goes D1, he'll make the NCAAs at 197 pounds. He'll make it 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll ever be an All-American. But there's so much pressure on being an All-American in D1. Just so much, dude. Like I hate to say it, gun to your head. Right? And it's like we put a lot of pressure on these guys. You know, someone wins 3 or 4 Ohio State titles, right? What do we automatically assume if they go D1? They should be what?
National champ.
National champ All-American, right? And you know, it's just like a guy like Josh Demas goes and he's never an All-American. Well, it's like all of a sudden now people diminish what Josh Demas did. Well, I don't, because I understand how hard it is for him to be a D1 All-American. I get that, right? Johnny DeJulius. I get those guys are really good. And if you look at their laundry list of guys they beat, they were right there. The NCAA tournament they just never put it together at the NCAA tournament fully. You know what I mean? And it's like, for people to diminish what those guys have done, it bums me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow, they never got it done. Well, okay, they're great coaches for it now. Both guys are coaching in the D1 level. That's like crazy to me because we do put a lot of pressure on people. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I just don't like that because wrestling media is really bad with it. Like, wrestling media is really bad with it, right? I mean, they're awful, and it bums me out. Really bums me out. Where did we meet in the airport? Were we in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Was I interviewing the crazy heckler guy?
Robin Fickler.
Yeah, I was interviewing that dude, right?
Yeah.
And I ran into you. That's right. And then you think I'm a crazy person because I won't go through the body scanner.
No, I thought it was awesome. You told me you were a history teacher, and for your student, you can't teach, but you don't preach.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I won't go through the body. To this day, I don't go through the body scanner. If they did some weird thing with my kids, I'd probably go through the body scanner. If they were like, "Wow, you gotta go with it," whatever. If they wanted to separate me from whatever, that's a different level, as you'll find out as a father someday. And it was just like yesterday, I was talking to my one kid, my 2-year-old. He wants to just barrel into life, and we were at the top of the falls, and you got to just pay attention to him. I don't think there was any real danger of them being like how far back we were, but as a dad, you figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk about the most disappointing year in the history of your generation, my generation. You ready?
Yeah.
2020. 2020, Sammy Gross, 157. You're down to 57. When did you come in right away at 57 this year?
No, well, I started at 65, and there was a couple roster battles. We had Luke Rykowski at 165, who was also a qualifier, and there was like a log jam. We were both there, and it was best for the team and best for me to go to 57.
Did he qualify?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys made the right move.
I think so.
I mean, we won't know if it was the right. No one will ever know if it was truly the right move because they canceled the stinking tournament. You guys in D2 were both on the mat. You guys were in Iowa. They were in South Dakota. You guys weren't far from each other, by the way.
Yeah.
Where were you guys?
Cedar Rapids.
You're in. Yeah, I think you guys were a couple hours apart.
Yeah, from Sioux Falls.
Yeah. You guys weren't far apart, actually. I think it's only like 2 or 3 hours. Okay. So you're there. I've gotten a bunch of D2 perspectives, and Haywald told me this story, but I want to hear your perspective. First off, what place did you take in the region this past year?
I ended up getting third.
Third again?
Yeah.
You like the pressure cooker, huh, Sammy?
I don't think so.
That's just where you end up, huh?
Yeah, I got upset in the semifinals, but had to battle back, it's always good to battle back.
Who'd you beat in the Conci semis?
He was from Ohio Northern. I don't know his name.
Okay, so you beat an Ohio Northern guy, and then third, fourth.
It was an Olivet kid, Cole Hirsch.
Okay, so you beat 2 guys back to back, but you didn't have to come back and beat anyone who'd crushed you twice.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy. With the Mount Union guy put it on you twice, and then you beat him for third and fourth.
Our John Carroll had a really good regional tournament that year. I think so. I had lost twice. I think out of our 3 national qualifiers, I think we all avenged at least one loss in that tournament.
See, that's the best, man. And it's the end of the year, and those guys are all going home.
Yeah.
Those guys all went home. So okay, so Sam, you qualify, you win for third and fourth. Walk me through the process. It's a 2-week, right? It's a 2-week from regionals to NCAA. It's just like D1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that whole 2 weeks, how'd you feel?
I felt really good. We were training hard because I think we were on spring break the week before. So we were on spring break right after regionals. So it was basically like I think the best training situation. We got to rest all day and train and relax and kind of rest our bodies. So it was all. I felt really good. We were having a ton of fun. It was Coach Haywell's birthday, and we kind of planned a surprise party for him. Like we were just having a really good time. And wrestling was going really well, and I don't know. I think our team I felt really prepared at least.
So going into the tournament, did you have like one last weight cut practice?
No, we were going to. So we got there Wednesday. We worked out Wednesday, had a really good workout, and Thursday we were planning on working out at I think 5:30, and at 5 p.m. we got the news that it was canceled. So we didn't even get to have that weight cut workout.
D1 or D2, D3 are Thursday or Friday, Saturday tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-day tournament. Where were you sitting on the bracket?
I was the 6th seed.
You were the 6th seed, so you were set up with the 3. You're set up pretty good as a 6-3. 6-3 matchup's a great matchup.
I liked it.
If everybody doesn't get upset and then you got 2 unseeded guys, right? It's crazy. I'm telling you, man, I love it. Going to those D2 and D3. It is not like anything else. And then your blood round's Friday night, too.
Yeah, so if you place.
Yeah. If you're coming back for Saturday, you're an All-American. Which is just like D1, right? But it's shortened by a day, right? What are the brackets, Sammy?
18.
18. And you were 6. What do they seed up to? 8?
Yep.
Okay. So, okay. What's Haywall? Tell me you're gonna get this last workout in 5:00 Thursday night. What's he coming? What's he say to you guys?
I think we found out before he did.
No way.
Or not before he. Well, so I think he had gone to a coaches meeting 30 minutes before, and all the coaches are like, "We're going. We're doing this. We're all here." And then I think we saw that all D1 sports got canceled.
Oh my god!
And he's like, the day before, he's like, "I think D1s are going to get canceled, but we're already here. We're going to go." And my parents pulled up to the hotel, and they brought me my guitar. I was going to relax and play a little guitar, and I went to go pick it up, and they're like, "We heard it's canceled."
Your mom and dad said that.
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't think so." And I went up to the hotel room. I got my guitar, and coach is like, "Yeah, it's canceled." And I went downstairs and told him, and it was tough.
Jeez, oh Pete, dude, are you joking? Like when they say it to you, are you like, this can't be real?
Yeah, it was like a numbing experience.
What do you do, Sam? What's your music? What do you play?
Well, I'm not very good.
Okay, but what do you play? That's not the question. What do you play?
I got it. I play acoustic mostly. I like playing a little bit of rock, a little bit of folk songs.
What song? Give me your favorite song to play.
I started playing a little Red Hot Chili Peppers yesterday. I was playing Under the Bridge. That was a fun one.
I love Under the Bridge. You know what I don't like? Whenever you put any of the music onto your social media, I'll be listening to something, and they will edit it, and I get strikes. They'll be like, "Oh, you can't have this." I'm like, "Come on, man! What are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Stop it!" I don't like that. I don't like how everything's got to be monetized. Dude, when I go to do a workout and you guys play music, if I go to a workout and someone's they're playing music, that's what you guys do. If I shoot a video, YouTube will flag the video and it'll demonetize it. And I'm like, what are you doing? So everybody's there to watch the workout. They're watching the two guys scrap. They don't care about your song. So now sometimes that you have a muting tool.
Oh, you can. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's stupid though, but whatever. I think we all know the playbook on YouTube and a lot of these, a lot of our social media platforms. They're ultra restrictive, and if something doesn't align with quote unquote their political agenda, they're private though, and I get it. I understand how this works. I understand how the First Amendment works, but I also understand how private ownership works. So I'm not an idiot. So what you're increasingly seeing is people are going to these like new other platforms. If you haven't noticed,
You on
so
TikTok?
I'm a 40-year-old man. I just can't do it yet. Do you think I should be on TikTok, Sam? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
know,
don't.
man. I'm
I'm not
not.
on TikTok.
I'm waiting for TikTok. Well, because you know what's happened. Facebook has become the soccer moms and me, right? It's become us. And then Instagram's kind of still Switzerland, still neutral. Everybody can use Twitter, and it's a dumpster fire for information, right? Um, Obviously, your probably your favorite president, Donald John. He's a big fan of it.
Hmm.
There's times that I think that they should take his phone from him. I think he's the one crafting those.
You don't think it's
I
his
don't
team?
think that's an aide. I don't, or it's like an aide who he's screaming at who's doing it. I think that's him. I think those are his thumbs doing that, and that's just my opinion. I'm naive though, but yeah, it just yeah. Are you TikTok?
No, I've never been on it.
Well, there you go. Thank you. You're being sarcastic. Good, because I can't do it. These be creepy. I'm a 40. You're about to be 41-year-old man on TikTok. Come on. And I see the videos, and I can't tell what it is, and it's another thing for me to learn. And like I said, I'm old. No, I'm good. I don't know if I'm ever gonna want to be on a platform that my kids will be on. You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. I'll cross that bridge in 6 or 8, 10 years. Hopefully longer, but I'm guessing it won't be. So, Sam, what's going through your head now that the worst year on record for 330 D1 guys, 180 D2 and D3 guys? Like, what's going through your head?
Uh, at the time
At the
yeah.
time, you got the guitar, it's canceled. What's going through your head?
It was like I wasn't really. We were in shock, kind of like when you hear this. I remember my parents had stopped in Chicago and they got like these like stuffed pretzels, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna have one. And like I didn't even taste it. It was like this cheese filled soft pretzel that like I tasted and I couldn't even taste it because it was just like it didn't. And it was this surreal experience.
It bums me out that I smile that you just wolfed this thing down, but it's like you couldn't even enjoy it.
No. And it was so. I mean, I saw our rival schools were crying. There were some people in our conference in the hotel, and like some coaches came up and hugged me. I saw some of our opponents were crying, and we all hugged, which was kind of a cool bonding experience, right? You've got people who, normally we all are enemies, and we're all together.
It's crazy. Misery loves company, Sammy.
It does.
It's true. It's like a true thing, man. I think that's the only comfort that a lot of people have taken out of the whole thing. It's just like such a miserable, awful experience, but at least somebody else didn't benefit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is in the same boat. Where do you go from here now? Like, is the training? Is it? Are you? What did you do? What did you do? What'd you do? What have you done? You don't look like you're still in great shape. You haven't gone You haven't gone off the cliff, and you still look like you're in great shape when I saw you yesterday.
Thank you. I've been having. This has been like one of the most fun training experiences. It's just the ability to adapt. So I do not have a gym at home. So I got to start getting creative. I went to Lowe's. I bought some cinder blocks and I bought a sandbag, and I started throwing that. And I started doing curls, and I mean I could do pull-ups and push-ups, but basically just getting creative with workouts. Yeah, I'd see a rock on a run, and I would start rowing it and curling it, and just kind of having fun with getting creative and being able to adapt.
Yeah, man, that's a part of the deal. You have to figure it out at this point. Have you wrestled at all?
No,
You guys can. You can do whatever you want.
I guess I don't have a place to do it though.
Well, go out and start wrestling with my nephew. Drive to Oak Harbor.
All right.
Drive out into the sticks. I think they have a wrestling room.
You said he's 97?
He's a 182. He won the district at 182, and he probably weighs about 200 now. He just got invited to Ironman at 195. I don't think there's going to be an Ironman, but I told him to get to 220. I said, dude, you got to be at 220 because he's got 1 year left at Oak Harbor.
Okay.
And I was like, you got to be 220. Why? I go, the guys are worse. But as you found out, you weren't a true 74, and the guys are that's okay. So the breakdown is 97 heavyweight, kind of like high school, 220, 285. If someone's a big, talented athlete, in this day and age, everything's a single sport focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are the really good guys doing who weigh 220 pounds and above? What are they doing? What are they focused on? They're focused on football. There you go. You know, why is 97 in heavyweight not as good in college? Well, what are your really good athletes doing who are 200 plus pounds? Playing football. So I maintain that that's a thing. Now, listen, we're in a golden era right now at heavyweight, right? We got Gable Steveson. Was it Kassar won last year? He beat Gable Steveson in the finals. Derek White, a converted 197. Yeah, man, you got all different types of they've got really good Mason Paris. He's a world champion. I mean, the list goes on, right? Like one heavyweight's really good. I like the kid from Clay, Central Michigan.
Matt Stencil.
Yeah, I like him. My mom and dad went to that high school, and all my cousins went to Clay High School. That's over by Oak Harbor.
Okay.
My mom and dad, where they live, we're closer to Clay High School than we are to Oak Harbor.
Gotcha.
And there's a bunch of high schools we're closer to because it's out in the country and it's like flat and it's real weird when you go over there. But yeah, like Hilger, I like Hilger from Wisconsin. I like Wood from Lehigh, but he's done now, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think
those are all guys who are.
I mean, really, really, really good guys, right? I'm missing somebody. I feel terrible. Who am I missing?
Mason Paris.
I said Mason Paris. I like the Orndorff kid. The Orndorff kid who just transferred. I like him. But heavyweight, we're in a really good situation right now, and I think a lot of those guys could go and play college football. Orndorff's dad was Pac-8 then. He was NCAA finalist, lost to Carrollton Hasselrig, and he was all Pac-8 as a football player, a lineman.
Oh, wow.
Dave Orndorff, he's 5'10". If you saw Dave Orndorff, you'd be like, wow, that guy? Yeah, he's a good dude. But heavyweight, we're in a really good situation right now. So it's like those guys could all go probably play D1 football. Mason Paris, we know could. Gable Steveson
did.
Yeah.
Mark Sullivan did.
Yeah, there you go. Mark Sullivan was a freak at Ohio State. And then he had the twin brothers, right?
Yes, I think they also played there.
Yeah, they played at Ohio State. So, yeah, and there's a lot of that. My boss, Rich Frimmel, he was a D1 state champ for North Olmsted and Tom Milkovich. And he wrestled a year at the Big Tens for Ohio State. He's my direct boss at Riverside, John R. Williams, where we're at. It's just like, it makes sense. Luke Fickle, right? So Luke Fickle, the coach at Cincinnati. That's something he's like said. He's like, I'll recruit any state champion above 170 pounds in Ohio. That's like a thing he says. But yeah. So, okay. Anything planned coming up for you? Any trips for you to go anywhere?
I'm going out to Pennsylvania this weekend. I'm going to go hiking.
Where do you go in PA?
My parents have a condo out in Seven Springs.
Where is that?
It's, you know where Ohio Pile is?
Oh, yeah. I know where that is. I've hiked all that.
It's like 20 minutes from Ohio Pile.
What are the highlands called there? The
Royal Highlands?
Yeah, I hiked all that. That's really cool, man. My nephew and I did a bunch of that. That's really cool. And then
Your nephew?
No, I have a nephew he is a athletic trainer at Ohio University, Dawson Lott. My nephew, my sister's son. Him and I do a bunch of hiking. We do the Allegheny National Forest. I've taken him to Alaska. We did a bunch of stuff. We did a bunch of things in Yosemite in California. We've done
everything. Watching
Mount St. Helens. We've done Rainier. We've done a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Crater Lake. We do a bunch of Crater Lake stuff. Yeah, we've done a bunch of stuff. We did Denali, but you couldn't really do much at Denali. Denali, you have to have an outfitter, and then it's like almost lottery to get into the park in Alaska. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting when you go out west to figure out what you can and can't do. Denali's a different beast, though. Denali's the size of like New Hampshire.
Really?
Denali's huge, dude.
Man.
And it's ultra super wild, and the terrain is super rugged, so you have to have an outfitter. Now, if you're a local, some of the locals might have it figured out and where they can go in and out how they want to. Like if you have someone who's a local, you know. But like you just can't roll up into Denali and do whatever you want. It's crazy. Denali's a different beat. And there's massive glaciers. I mean, and you don't just go bebopping around on a glacier by yourself. If you're from Ohio, right? If you're from Alaska, that stuff's all like easy and commonplace. So Ohio Pilot's sweet. Have you run those falls yet?
On whitewater rafting?
Mm-hmm.
Or just gone on the falls?
No, have you run them? Have you gone over them?
No.
I'd run those.
You're a little crazier than I am.
Yeah, my best friend's like a nut job, and those aren't bad. Those aren't bad. I would do those. Because the thing with those is there's safety, and then they're probably running them in big boats for whenever they do run them, and they run them when they're low, is my guess. If you run those at a high flow,
I'm so jealous of you. Right now, you're hanging out with your kids, doing all of that. You're living this quarantine up right.
Yeah, but they're nuts. Like I had to switch beds last night.
Really?
Because they were beating each other up in the bed I was trying to sleep in, so I just went to another bed. So what'd they do? They went over to the other bed that I was trying to sleep in and beat each other up there.
They're gonna be tough.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. What is your favorite experience with wrestling? What's the best thing you've ever done? Being a part of the Beechwood team, going to Northwestern, John Carroll, traveling. Have you gone to Fargo?
Kinda.
Kinda?
Well, I never really. I played baseball in high school, so I never actually like trained super hard for Fargo. So I would kind of, like play baseball all year, go to Solon Open mats, and then end up going to Fargo without really training super hard.
Did they still do, even, I know obviously not this year, but do they still do that big Solon Open mats?
Yeah, this is the first year they're not there.
Yeah, because that was the big thing with DiGiovanni. Like, he would bring, everybody could just come in and bang, right?
Yeah, it was, my best memory, so I got to compete in Israel in 2013 for the Maccabi games. I thought that was probably the coolest experience I've had so far.
Okay, so that's Jewish athletes from all countries.
Yeah.
They come in and they set you guys up in a bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was like the best guy on that team with you?
So Nate Angle was on the team. Jordan Lipp was on the team. He was a national qualifier. We had Ophir Bernstein, who was he's
a two-time All-American at Brown.
And a junior world silver medalist for Israel.
Hold on. Did Ophir have an Iranian in his bracket?
No, there were no Iranians. So it was weird.
No, at the World Okay, not at Maccabi games.
Yeah.
At the World Championship. Okay, so I confused it. Sorry. Yes, there are no Iranians at the Maccabi games. I apologize. I should have prefaced maybe there's no Iranians. They're probably the only country. Well, there's a bunch of other countries there that won't send people to the Maccabi games. But I'm guessing Egypt doesn't send anybody to the Maccabi games, do they?
I'm not sure. So wrestling, there was only like 3 or 4 countries that were represented.
But track and field, okay, let's say.
And everything, yeah.
Yeah, that's track and field. You got probably, 70, 80, how many countries?
A lot.
Probably 70, 80, right?
Yeah.
Because Canada's going to have a team. Brazil's going to have a team. All of the Western Hemisphere is probably going to have a team, right?
Yeah,
Argentina, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ophir beat the Iranian in the semifinals, I think.
No, okay, that's Worlds. Yeah. So hold on, we don't want to confuse it here.
No, at the Worlds, yeah.
Did you know that they have? Did you know that Iran has a week, not a day. They have a week of national Holocaust denial. Did you know that?
I did not.
That's a real thing, and I'm not making it up.
A week of denial.
A week of denial. That's a thing. And not to mention all their media. Who runs all their media? Most of their media is state run anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if their people care even like a little bit and to dig a level deeper, they're going to obviously figure out very quickly that they're being lied to, right?
Well, I don't know. What's their censorship look like?
What's weird is they have like 40 million people who blog. They have like a really high, like that blogging's a big thing in Iran. And not all the social media platforms are what they are in like Southeast Asia. And like you're saying, what's the censorship level and what are they on? There's all these other different social media platforms besides the big five, like that we have here. What these Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which those are tied together, those two, and then you got YouTube, and then Jizo Pete's TikTok, right? There's all these other ones that are catching fire, but they don't have all the. It's not. Those are pretty universal, but like some of them are pretty heightened, like what China does with Facebook and Google, and right, because it's globally not like the youth. Because in America, you can do what you want, right? Like if you want to if I wanted to crash and burn on Twitter, I could do that, right? If I just wanted to like start insulting people, and then everybody's, what's this guy doing? And then they kick me off, I get reported. But Iran is weird. It's real weird because like there is a high level of censorship, much like China, and then obviously the highest level would be North Korea.
Yes.
Because that guy doesn't let anything in. Like he is literally out of his mind. But that's a thing. I actually want to Google it and show it to you. Because it blows my mind that much. But what's Israel like?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, being first off, being in a place with all this history, like, our tour guide. So we would train in the morning and then we like toured the whole afternoon, and just like seeing all the history of everything that happened was super awesome, and it was a really awesome experience. I want to go back.
How do your mom and dad both Jewish?
Yep.
So do they have do you have family over there?
No.
No family?
I think I might have a distant relative, but I do not. All my family's here.
Yeah, I'm seeing like a bunch of stuff like on BBC, and you got to vet this, right? Yeah, the Holocaust denial is it's a big part of what they do. Oh my God, it's so crazy.
I'm gonna do some research.
Dude, check it out. You gotta they're Khomeini, Ali Khamenei. He issues videos on it. It's so nuts, dude. That blows my mind. Yeah, yes, this is a real thing, dude. So wild. That blows my mind. Do you think like do you know when you meet a Jewish athlete? Do you know when someone? I mean, I don't even know.
Well, a lot of times I can tell by their name. I mean, like, there's a lot of Jewish last names that are typically Jewish. But
okay, Gross and Harris are not Jewish last names.
No. Well, I laugh because we were in Florida and we had this tournament. It was right where the D1s had their dual meets in Miami, and we had our tournament, a D3 tournament. And all I know is like I'm about to wrestle, and I look at my dad, and he met all of the Jewish parents of all the other wrestling. I don't know how he found them, but yeah, we find each other.
You find each other?
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is this guy's parent from NYU, and they've got all these Jewish kids, and I was like, awesome.
The Bernsteins.
Yeah.
What's the guys from Colorado? The twins.
The Fine Silvers.
Fine Silvers. They've done Maccabee, haven't they?
Yeah, they did it in 2017.
Those guys are good guys. Those guys are junkyard dogs. They're tougher than frickin' $2 steak. Yeah, those guys are really good guys. I like those guys. They're from Colorado. What's his name? The head coach for Indiana. Four-time.
It used to be
Goldman.
Yeah.
Goldman's Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard that it's Goldman of Goldman Sachs. Did you hear that?
Is
that true?
I think so.
That is wild. and he's from Colorado Springs, I believe.
Okay.
And then like Engel. Engel's not a Jewish name. Gross is not a Jewish name. Harris is not a Jewish name. What was Gross before it was Gross? Because what happens is a lot of times when you guys, whoever, grandparents, great grandparents, whoever immigrate, they change their name so they wouldn't be discriminated against, right? That's kind of the playbook with that.
It used to be Gorodetsky.
Gordetsky.
Yeah, which I think is so much cooler.
Were you, where are they from? Poland?
I think so.
Poland? Okay. Yeah, because people come here and they don't want to be discriminated against via their name, which obviously we know that's a part of our history, right? It's just like I'm starting to get into like when the Irish built the railroads and the Chinese built the railroads and how they would discriminate against them and how a lot of them would change their names. The Irish could blend in sometimes. And then the Chinese obviously had no chance of blending in, right?
Yeah. Remember, I invited you to Passover a couple years ago.
Did you?
I met you at the airport, and I was like, "Yeah, come on out to Passover."
I don't know what Passover is about. I understand it's like when they passed over all the houses, right?
Yeah, it's when the Jews fled out of Egypt.
And then what did they do? Whenever they passed over all the homes with the firstborn boy, what was it?
Yeah, it was
blood on the door.
The last plague was the death of the firstborn, but the Jews put blood. I believe it was lamb's blood on their door, so that they passed over.
They passed over their houses, right?
Yep.
And that's the thing. Oh, you invited me to that. That you did. It was in the airport.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't believe I didn't go to it.
Next year.
How is that? Tell me about that.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. We read. There's a book we read. Well, so I'm not super. My family's conservative, so we're not like extreme religious. But
yeah.
We have a lot of fun. We get our family together. We read from the book, and we get to.
Isn't it the book is called the Torah, I believe.
No. The book on Passover is the Haggadah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Bible, your Bible is the Torah.
The Torah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your prophet is Abraham.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm telling you, your prophet's Abraham. I'm not asking.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Who's the prophet for Christianity?
Jesus.
Who's the prophet for Judaism?
I don't think we believe in prophets.
Okay, who's the messenger?
Abraham.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. So you would call. Okay, so who's the prophet for Islam? Who's the messenger of God? Hold on. Who's the messenger of God for Islam?
Not Muhammad.
It's Muhammad. Correct.
Oh.
Correct. So hold on. Let's not call him prophet. Let's just call him messenger of God.
Yeah.
Who did they transmit their? Where was a lot of their text transmitted from, and who was it? Who was the conduit from God to the people?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of Abraham.
It's Abraham, right? I'm saying that's who it is.
Yeah, it's Abraham.
But maybe you don't call him a prophet, but he was the conduit from God to the people. He's the filler guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's the community seems pretty special. Are all those guys? So Weiss, he's Jewish.
Yeah.
Lips, they're Jewish.
Yep.
Harris.
Yep.
What is the guy who wrestled for Kent State at 197? Blackwell?
He's not Jewish.
Blackwell's not. Don't laugh. You can be African American and Jewish.
Okay, true.
No, you can. Yeah. Right? And then geez, Pete, who else?
David Sternberg was state champ. He's Jewish.
Is everybody but Blackwell Jewish, basically?
A lot of them, yeah.
Is there anybody who's not?
Michael Lintz. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think Michael Linsker's Italian. Which I guess that's not a religion. But I think there's
Lear's. I know Lear's dad was Jewish.
Yeah, Matt Lear.
Lou Lear is a Jewish guy, right?
Mark Haywald was our first state champ. He was not Jewish.
The dad.
Yeah.
The guy who was a D3 national champ and D1 All-American.
Yep.
Haywalds are not Jewish.
No.
Wow. And he's a Beechwood guy.
Yep.
So besides Haywald, is every state champ been Jewish?
I think it might be.
That's crazy. And how many of you guys had?
I think 17 or 18.
And that's pretty good numbers. One of the Peters was state champ, right?
No, Ryan Peters and Scott Peters both were runner-ups.
Scott is the podiatrist.
Yes, my podiatrist.
Yeah, is that who did your leg? Your ankle?
No, we had to go through Cleveland.
Was
Clinic
that
to
out of
fix
his
it.
scope? Was that out of his scope because it was the leg and not the? But it was your
Well,
ankle.
I called him on it. He's like, "Yeah, you don't need surgery." And then the school's like, "You need surgery." So
Oh wow. So okay, so what is the level? You say the level. You're not super devout. Then you have people who are Orthodox.
mhm,
Orthodox people don't drive on Saturday. They don't use power on Saturday, right?
correct. So yeah, there's Reform, which are like it's the lowest level. Then they have conservative, which is where my family is.
Okay.
And then you have the Orthodox.
Okay.
So,
One of the Peters brothers is Orthodox, I believe.
Scott is, yeah.
Scott is Orthodox. So he I think he's the one who has to stay directly next to the state tournament and all the tournaments he goes to, so because he has to walk on a Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's been to the state tournament in years because he can't go.
That's crazy. Wow. I mean that's people's religion, right? I just it's just always fascinated me how tight knit the Jewish community is, man.
I'm hoping to become John Carroll's first Jewish national champ.
Would you be their first All-American who's Jewish
In wrestling, I think so.
in wrestling?
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, did you ever pop over into Skokie when you were over in Skokie?
Yeah.
Because Skokie's like Beechwood, but on a massive scale.
Yeah.
It's a much larger Beechwood in the Chicagoland area, right?
Yep.
So, something I need you to look up is in the 70s, the neo-Nazis they wanted to have a parade. They wanted to have a public event in Skokie, Illinois. So check out Skokie versus the National Socialists.
I will.
That's the Nazis, if you didn't know. So check that out. That's a landmark First Amendment case. People don't know, but you're allowed to have. They've curtailed quote unquote hate groups, which is what the National Socialists would be, Nazis. They've curtailed hate speech and because it's kind of arbitrary what is and what isn't. Well, it's not arbitrary. It's pretty obvious what's hate speech and what's not. Which is not. And what they did was they went to. It was an all Jewish city council. They denied the National Socialists the right to have their rally. And at that point in time, some crazy number, 1 out of every 2 residents of Skokie had survived the Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
So obviously you know why the Nazis want to make everybody mad, right? But they want to, and it's like America, and you're allowed to do what you want, right? And it's a freedom thing. We get it. But yeah, go read up on that. Skokie versus the National Socialists. I think it's from the 70s. Maybe it's 70s, I think. But it's a landmark First Amendment freedom of assembly. It's a freedom of assembly, freedom of speech case. It's fascinating, though. Go check that out. Holocaust denial, Iran, Skokie versus National Socialist Party. Those two things. I gave you homework, Sammy.
All right, I'll write you an essay on it.
What's Skokie like as far as the Jewish community compared to? Because Beechwood is real small.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't really explore. I mean, I don't think I did actually go to somebody's Jewish holidays in Skokie. I think it was Skokie. I don't know how close it is. I know my sister went to Jewish overnight camp in Wisconsin, and there's tons of Skokie people there. So I'm not sure how close knit it is, though.
What is the percentage of Jewish people in Beechwood? Is it about 80, 90%? 80 to 90%?
I don't know what it is now, because I think it's decreasing in percentage. So when I was 13, I think I went to 70 bar mitzvahs. It was one a weekend for a year and a half. Where my younger sister, who's 5 years younger than me, she went to maybe 40. So I think we're becoming a more diverse community as far as religion, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. How many synagogues are in Beechwood?
Oh gosh, I don't know, 10.
Is there 10 of them?
Well, there's a lot of Orthodox ones right around John Carroll. I don't know. That might be University Heights.
But John Carroll's a Christian university, isn't it?
Yep.
And then Saint Ignatius is
I'm
Catholic.
a Jesuit. I'm a Jesuit.
Is that what they call it? Is that like a name you made up?
I made it up. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
What the title of the video is going to be?
What's that?
Is that the title? Jesuit Sammy Gross.
I don't think I'm gonna. That's probably not what I'm gonna put in there. It's not. I don't think I'm gonna do that. No, the Jewish culture is like amazing, dude. It's fascinating, and then the fact that you got to go and compete. How did you do? How'd you do at the Maccabea Games?
So I got gold in freestyle, and then they forced us to go Greco, and I went, I think 0-1.
0-1.
I can't remember.
Did Engel win?
Yeah, he won both gold.
Because Engel was a U.S. national team member in Greco, I believe.
Oh, he was sweet.
Nate Engel was really good.
He got the job at Oregon State.
Yeah, he got the job in Imar. My nephew's out, they're in.
Oh, is that where Ian was coming?
Yeah, he was there for 4 years. He was the second assistant. So he won. You know how that goes. That's just how they do the staff, right? The staff goes. They take the staff. You know what I mean? Like they usually associate. Some guys will stay behind. Like Lee Pritt stayed at Arizona State. You'll occasionally like have one guy who kind of like knows how the institution works that they'll keep, but not the case in Oregon State. I think Chris Pendleton he wanted to hit reset, which is how it goes, right? It's a business, right? D1's a business.
Oh yeah.
When you look at does everybody own a business? Does like everybody, a lot of small business owners in the Jewish community, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make generalizations, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of successful businessmen. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Your dad owns. Yeah. Your dad, Harris.
Lip. Oh, I guess you're naming all the wrestlers. Yeah, I guess.
No, all the wrestlers, they own small business. That's not I wasn't making a blanket generalization.
Yeah.
I was saying a lot of the wrestling dads. Come on, Sammy, stick with me here, buddy.
I got you.
Most of those parents, though, they own small businesses, right?
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, what do the Lips do?
They're called Merit Brass. I can't remember what they do.
What is it?
I don't know.
Whereas, like, what's his name? Harris does the metals. He does scrap metals.
Yeah, Harris Metals.
And then you guys are finance. What practice does Peters go? What is he in? What practice is he in?
He's in podiatry. He's got his own practice.
Is it okay? So he owns his own practice. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys don't. It's like it's a part of. You don't really have to rely on other people, right? Do you think is that like one of the tenets of like how they raise you guys?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that we don't rely. I think we just really value education and kind of the hard work ethic.
There's no question about the work ethic, man. It is like I don't think anyone's going to outwork Sammy Gross. You know what I mean? When you're in these like despairing times, right? You're just like broken ankle, not a full-time student, and you didn't flunk out of Northwestern. That's the other thing.
No, I came home voluntarily.
Yeah, your Northwestern deal was. I asked you yesterday. What was your GPA when you left Northwestern?
I think at 3.5.
Yeah, so that's like voluntarily you leave, right? Like when you get in these situations, it's just like I think how you were raised. A lot of it has a lot to do with it. Like you're saying, you value education, you value hard work. It's like I don't know if your community values it over other communities, but it seems to. If you look at the success rates, that it kind of definitely suggests that, right?
Yeah.
And the Beechwood thing blows my mind because. And that's the other thing. Like, when you go to the Maccabea Games, did you watch any of the other things, any of the other events? I guess.
Yeah. Well, so we were there for like 3.5 weeks.
You were in Israel for 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so for the first like week we'd practice at 6 a.m. We'd go back. We'd take a bus and we would tour for the rest of the day, and then starting after we had these opening ceremonies, which was just like. Every athlete there was there. Like I think the Prime Minister of Israel was there. Like it was Obama gave us a little shout out on the screen. Like it was really cool. And then we competed. So there's like 2 weeks of competition, and we competed like the second day.
Okay.
So we made it the second and third day, and then we had the rest of the time to go watch other sports and to explore the country on our own.
They let you explore the country on your own.
I mean, like I didn't go like in restricted areas, but like I headed out to Tel Aviv and we
Oh,
went to check
wow.
out some cool stuff.
Wow. And there's obviously very restricted areas when you get into contested areas. And it's the border security is like off the
Oh yeah.
charts. It's not like I don't think people understand border security here. Border security there is like
Oh yeah.
next level, right? Um, what's the coolest thing you saw over there?
I think we went to the Western Wall, which I thought was just like the coolest thing ever. It was just like because so much history involved there, and like it's one of the holiest places I've ever been. And everybody puts a little prayer in the wall, and people are praying, and it was like a very emotional experience there.
That's like sacred to everybody. The major religions I brought up earlier, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it's like sacred religious area for all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, like you're saying that's the spot. That's like the religious spot on the planet that's like that brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And does everybody have access to that?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think so. I'm not. I could be wrong. My Hebrew school teachers are real angry right now.
I'm guessing they're not watching, so you're okay. You're okay. Well, yeah, the Jewish community, man, it just like it's fascinating. The Skokie thing is going to blow your mind, by the way.
I know.
The
I'm gonna check
Skokie
it
thing
out.
is going to blow your mind. But yeah, where do we go from here, Sammy? Where do we go from here in this summer and your training, and how much more creative training can you do before you got to get back on the mat?
I'm hoping I can get back on the mat soon. I'm gonna hit up your nephew, I guess.
Yeah, go over there and work out with those guys.
I will.
They roll like hillbilly style. They're kind of hillbillies though. Just disclosure, just disclaimer.
That's okay.
And they're
How far is Oak Harbor from Beechwood?
it's 2 hours maybe.
Okay.
I'd roll over, dude. But when do you go to Ohio Pile? And obviously it's gonna have to wait because it's holiday weekend. But when do you try and start up? And there's the no contacts being lifted May 26th, by the way, for the OHSAA. And as you know, the loophole, as we talked earlier, the loophole in Ohio is freestyle and Greco.
Mm-hmm.
It's not folk style, and therefore they're allowed to do it, right? It's always been the loophole with the contact with coaches and all that, right? You know that, right? So Solon might be open. I don't know, man. People are pretty sketched out right now. I'm guessing school facilities won't be open.
John Carroll's not open, so we can't get in there.
But you got, everybody else is on the mat. Other guys are on the mat. I'm watching these Roman Bravo Young things where Roman Bravo Young's on the roof of a freaking parking garage in Tucson, Arizona, drilling. Have you seen these things?
No.
You haven't seen them?
No.
Dude, go to his Twitter or go to his Instagram and watch these videos of him training.
I will.
They're amazing. The music's amazing. The editing's amazing. He's a freak. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
133 is going to be nuts next year, dude. I know who you got. So, hey, Stevan's parents they're from Serbia, right?
His dad is. His dad, I think, was born. I'm not sure if he was born in Serbia and then moved here, or he was born here and his parents are Serbian.
Okay. And then Dave Habit, he finally just. Do you know Dave was competing for Slovenia and he'd never been there for a while?
Really?
Yeah. I asked him. I was like, Dave, do you speak any Serbian or do you speak any Slovenian? No. Do you know Dave at all?
I do.
Dave's cool. Dave's like real cool, kind of spaced out a little bit. Real cool guy though. Awesome guy. I love Dave Habit because he's one of our Burnett trained guys. I remember he would show up late, but he would wrestle real hard, and I was like, this dude's a goofball.
Yeah, he was.
He's just different. He's just different. But Stevan has like a real legit family tie. Is he their first Olympian?
Yeah.
That's awesome. In wrestling, freestyle wrestling. And then Amin is San Marino's, which is like a micronation in Italy.
Yes.
He's their first Olympian. That whole that's amazing. Are you guys close? Are you and Stevan close?
Yeah, we talk still. I mean, I'm obviously not as close as we were, but yeah.
I mean,
talk to him.
Are you going to go to the Olympics and watch him close?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I'd love to go to the Olympics, but I probably won't.
Hey, can you go to the Maccabea games now? Not
Yeah.
okay. Not in the current climate we're in. I understand that. Can you? When does your eligibility run out, or is there no age groups? What is it?
There's no age groups, so I think Nate Angle just wrestled there in 2017 for the last time, and I think he'd been there 3 or 4 times.
Okay, and
I thought about it. It was supposed to be in 2021, the year after the Olympics. But
probably 2022 now, right?
Yeah.
Go do it. That'd be sweet.
I'm thinking.
Give you a reason to stay in shape. I know that one dude does it from Virginia. Prebish.
Okay.
I think Rob Prebish does it.
Does
Do you know him?
I don't.
No, yeah, I think Rob Prebish does Maccabea games. Check him out too. Fine Silvers do it. Yeah, dude, you can get some training in with them.
One of the Fine Silvers is wrestling for Israel.
Really?
Mitch.
Mitch is
trying to make the Olympics.
So Mitch took 3rd last year, right?
Yes.
At 49?
Yeah.
Dude, he's really tough. And then who's coming back?
For John Carroll?
No. Who's coming back? Which 2 twins are coming back? There's 2 twins that graduated. Which 2 are coming back?
I don't know. There's so many. There's I think they
4
have
of
an
them.
entire team at the national tournament.
No, they had 4. They're half a team. Yeah, they did it twice. They did it in Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Do you know those guys at all?
Not really. I reached out to Mitch on Instagram a couple weeks ago, but I don't really know them personally.
So there's a situation with how the Jewish community is. Is that something where you could go and train with them, and they could train with you, or what? Or is it like that?
I mean, well, I feel like most people would train though. It doesn't matter if it's right. If I reached out to somebody else at Duke and said, "Hey, can I come train?" They probably would say, "Yeah."
Yeah.
But I feel like that tie probably adds a little bit of.
That's what I'm saying. Is it an extra? I get where wrestlers are. I get that we're a little twisted and we'll take anybody, right? But is it an extra step? Probably like, okay, he's a Jewish guy. He's done the Maccabea games, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, my dad always tells me when he goes to the NCAA tournament, he roots for, John Carroll and then Jewish guys.
You're funny, dude. It's how it is, though, right?
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Hey, man, when's the vacation start?
I'm probably gonna head out there in like an hour.
Well, dude, let's get you off here. If you got any stories for me? You got anything else for me? Got any questions for me?
I don't think so. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, man. No, it was great to see you yesterday. That was the coolest thing. I was like, dude, it was like awesome. And the fact that you were like, hey, what's up? You were like, hey, Dad, overweight Dad, come over here. I mean, whatever. Yeah, I get it. But you were cool about it. Who are you with?
I was with my mom's friend and her children. I was going on a hike with them.
Okay. And where were they? Are they Beechwood people or somewhere else?
Pepper Pike.
Pepper Pike. So what is it? Pepper Pike is Orange too, right? That's Orange District.
Yeah, Adam Krawinski's their coach now.
Is he?
Yeah.
And he was U.S. University School, right?
Yeah, he coached me my freshman year of high school.
Is he John Carroll guy?
Yes.
Was he All-American, John Carroll?
No, he had injuries, so he never got. I think he was ranked like 3rd in the country, but he didn't get to.
What's he do for a living?
He's an English teacher in Orange.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's a good place to teach. Like between Orange and Solon, those are the 2 best schools in Ohio.
Yeah.
And then I think they threw this other one in there. It's stupid. It's not a stupid school. It's a great school, but they compare Ottawa Hills, which is like a Beechwood type community, in the middle of Toledo, Ohio.
Really?
It's like it's not gated. It's this really weird community. It's a square, what are you guys, 4 square miles? What is Beechwood?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like, it's literally just like Beechwood, but it's in the middle of Toledo, and it's like 70 kids to a graduating class.
Okay.
How are you going to compare that to Solon?
Solon's big.
That's my point. Like, they're not in the same, you classify them by division, let's say, right? Like,
yeah.
You don't have Ottawa Hills compete in Division I and stuff, do you?
No.
So you can't compare the school that's 70 graduating kids to a class to the school that's 450 or 500. It's not fair. It's a dumb comparison. Because they can do more. They can do more because they can have their spending, how they can money they can put per pupil. I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay, yeah.
you get my point, right? Like
Yeah.
that's apples and oranges. It's a grape and a watermelon, right?
Yeah.
It's just not comparable. But dude, I love you educating me on the Jewish community. Thank you.
Thank you for educating me on all the hate crimes.
Oh yeah, it's horrible, but yeah.
I love learning. So.
No, but the Iranian thing's crazy, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that like bums me out actually. Like makes me super sad. And then when they forfeit to us.
Yeah.
When I say us, when they forfeit to Israel, you know, like when they forfeit to that's just.
Well,
you
I think John Abinator had to as well. The
Abinator thing is like really crazy and complex. The Abinator thing is like bonkers, dude. The Abinator thing is like, yeah, Andy Rovac kind of filled me in on the Abinator thing, and it's like I don't even want to like go there. It's like that bad. I'll go there on off camera with you, but it's like, dude, it's crazy. And Dominic Abinator, obviously, he's an East Sider. He's from Highland Heights, right?
Yeah.
Good dude. So I'm sure you grew up looking up to him at some level, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's he? Probably only 2 or 3 years older than you, right?
I think he's a year older than me.
That's crazy. Year older than you.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Hey, let me cut the video and let's talk off camera.
All right.
All right. Hey man, enjoy this weekend. What are you gonna do this weekend? Hike?
Probably hike and
get on a raft and go over those falls.
No.
So here, I'll tell you the quick story. I'll tell you one last on camera story. My best friend, he is people that move in the Pacific Northwest lose their minds. Did you know that?
So it makes sense.
Dude, it's nuts. They're crazy. I got friends out there who are crazy. My nephew lives out there. He's not as crazy. He tried to kill me 2 years ago, though. Hiking down into this gorge to this beautiful waterfall. Ian.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you got to calm down. I'm not used to this. So my best friend, I was going to cover this thing in Hawaii for Flow Wrestling.
When Minnesota dueled there?
Yeah, it wasn't a duel. It was a pool tournament. It was real weird. It was Minnesota. It was American. It was Oregon State, and it was Oklahoma. And in between, so it was Reno TOC, the Hawaii thing, and then I had like 7 days. 6 days, whatever it was. So I went to Portland. My best friend lives in Portland. He's from Genoa, which is across the street from where I live in Oak Harbor. And he moved there in 2003, and he's into rafting. And he's like, hey, we're going to go, whatever the hip term is, we're going to go float tomorrow or catch some gnar. I don't know. Gnarly, right? Whatever. Okay. We're going to go do it tomorrow. We're going to go get in the gnar is what they actually say. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's go do it. Anyhow, he's like, let's go. And then we're going, and it's like north of Portland, about an hour and a half. Battleground, maybe it's 45 minutes. I don't know. I remember. But I remember, like, we're going up there, and I had a rental, and he had his truck, and the raft was in the back of his truck. We had to inflate it. We had to go and do, like, work to get in the river, and it's Christmas Eve. It's December 24th. He didn't have any kids yet. And he's pumping the boat up, and he's pounding beers. And he's like, takes me to the waterfalls. And, dude, it's like, it would be like going over the falls in Chagrin Falls.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And he's like pumping the thing up, and he's walking me through it, and it's snowing, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, we're going to stick this. We're going to nail it. Blah, blah, blah. And he's drinking more beer, and he's pounding more beer. And I'm like, we're going to stick it, and then this and that. And he's walking through. If things get squirrely, get left, paddle right, yeah, whatever. He's like talking all this. Dude, it would be like me taking him into a college wrestling room and letting you guys just kick the tar out of him. That's like, he must think like I slept on a bunch of whitewater rafting books the night before, and through osmosis, I'm now an expert on whitewater rafting. I'm not. So we get there, and then he's like, he's super confident, and he's scouting it out, telling me, and I'm like, all right. Well, as we we shoot the boat down the bank of the river, and hey, get in and get wet a little bit. You know, we got wetsuits on. He's like, hey man, if we do swim, you know, get left into this cave right away, or you're gonna die. Well, then we like get in, and he's like, hey man, we might swim today, so make sure you get to that cave. And we go down the river a half mile, and we hit like a class 3 rapid, and then it goes boom right into this 20-foot waterfall. And he's like, as we're getting closer to it in a minute, he's like, hey, we're probably going to swim today, so make sure you get to that cave. So, like, the confidence level was, we're going to stick this, we're going to nail it, to, hey, we're going to swim today, get in that cave. So we obviously hit it. I'm going to shoot you the video. We hit it, and we flip over, and I hung onto the boat. And the boat and the recirculating current of the waterfall caught me and pulled me in like a conveyor belt.
To the cave?
No. Into the waterfalls, and it was pounding me into the bedrock of the river. Dude, when you watch this video, you're going to have anxiety.
Who was videoing?
I set a video camera up on a tripod and pressed play. That's what my dad's like, why didn't the person videoing you help you? And I'm like, there's nobody videoing. So dude, I drank a gallon of water. They had to watch me all night. I was like wheezing. It's terrible. But we got over. Dude, I flew the next day to Hawaii and did that thing. It was wild. The whole thing was wild. Don't get into the Ohio pile.
No.
But I'm going to send you this video, and you can be like, yeah, you're an idiot.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah. If you hate me, you'd be real excited to watch, because it's like I can watch this idiot almost die.
I mean, how many people get to capture their near-death experience?
Yeah. Oh, is that your mom?
Yes, my mom.
All right, tell her I said hello.
So I'm taking him at 12:50.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll get him. Sorry, I was on an interview. I'll get him.
For 2 hours?
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta take care of the dogs.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass over next year.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see how my comfort level of Passover is.
That's a fun one.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So there you go, man. There you go. I'll shoot you that video. Dude, thank you for the education today. Thank you for the time. Get after it. And if you want to meet up and hike someday when everybody's the paranoia and the people are not scared to death anymore. I wanted to shake your hand yesterday, but I don't want anybody to get wigged out.
He's right here. I got him.
So.
Sorry, my sister's got a puppy who's here. Hey, Franklin.
All right, show me Franklin real quick.
Franklin, come here, buddy.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my computer. There's Franklin.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Hi, Franklin. What is Franklin?
I am Franklin.
What is Franklin?
He's a Bichon Havanese. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy Ohio Pile. I'm going to cut this. I'll talk to you real quick off camera, all right?
All right, sounds good.